Folk Malone, Jewish Ed Sheeran, and American Hosier. Though these names sound kind of funny, to a fan of this incredibly talented musician, they make perfect sense. The internet has given many of these names to a growing artist, Noah Kahan. Making his mark in the folk pop genre, Kahan started on a widely used app, TikTok. He's now exceeded his dreams of becoming a musician and is playing everything everywhere. Today we will listen in on what inspired this artist, the history of his career, and how far he's come. But before we get into where he is, let's get into what he was. According to an interview by Mitch Mosk, as a young blood, he was born in Stratford, Vermont on January 1st, 1997, and raised on a tree farm. Raised by his parents, Lori Birkenkamp and Josh Kahn, they're the ones who inspired many of his tracks. His dad taught him how to play guitar, and his mom taught him how to write. He started writing songs at about 8 years old and uploaded them to SoundCloud and YouTube. His first song was written about a boat traveling on a river. From then on, I'd say he's traveled pretty far. He first performed in front of his middle school for a talent show, where he was then ordered to go to therapy by his guidance counselor for some of the lyrics. After his parents' divorce, he did start attending therapy for his troubled mind, which he sings about in lots of his songs. He struggled with anxiety and depression and talks about how he constantly lied to his therapist, which inspired his song, Growing Sideways. Although he has lots of support from home, he said he still felt alone. He's the third of 4 children, Sasha, Simon, and Richard. He attended Hanover High School, where he then played soccer. The New Yorker explains that since he didn't think he was very good at soccer, he would just continue his music career. When he got accepted to Tulane University, he decided not to go so that he could further his career in music. He always wanted to go far, far from here, but how? After turning down Tulane, he signed a deal with Republic Records at 17. He went on his first show and tour at 19 years old, where his first show was in front of about 50 people. With his first songs being released, like Young Blood and Hurt Somebody, he started gaining fans. These fans can relate to his songs and lyrics, which address things like grief, anxiety, and depression. He released his album, Busy Head, in 2019, with Cape Elizabeth to follow in 2020 after returning to Vermont because of the pandemic. He then released I Was, I Am in 2021 when he returned to Los Angeles. He was still a pretty small artist and seemed to be only growing sideways. He started posting his songs online, but wasn't getting the attention he wanted. According to an interview with Boston Magazine, he posted a clip of one of his newer songs, Stick Season, and debated deleting the video. Instead, he went to sleep, and then he woke up to it going viral. This was the foundation for Stick Season. He then released it in October of 2022, and to follow, released the deluxe version of Stick Season, We'll All Be Here Forever, with many hit songs. According to Boston Magazine, he has now sold out at least 75 shows, alongside his band members Noah Levine, Dylan Jones, Alex Wakari, and Marco Valles. Some of these shows include Red Rocks and Radio City Music Hall. He then started to collab with many artists, some of which inspired many of his songs. First, he collabed with Post Malone on Dial Drunk, with many more to follow. Lizzie McApline, Casey Musgraves, Hosier, Gracie Abrams, and Sam Fender. As many of you know, the famous country artist Zach Bryan, Noah featured on Zach's song Sarah's Place that was released last year. On his most recent album, Stick Season Forever, he added the song Forever, You're Gonna Go Far with Brandi Carlile, and Paul Revere with Gregory Alan Isikoff to conclude this album. Not taking himself so seriously, he keeps his fans entertained on his social media platforms. Now that he's not the way he was, the good grace of God Light is in his hands. His luck is not so bad after all, as he was just nominated for last year's Best New Artist at the Grammys. According to the Billboard Hot 100, he had 8 songs, one being in the top 10, which was Stick Season. He's number 1 on apps like Spotify in Ireland and the US, which are just a couple of examples. On the Billboard Artist 100, Noah Kahan hit 6th. Now that he's not only rich in his head, this is now his new reality. Making more money now than he ever has, much of this is supporting really good causes. Last May, Noah Kahan started the Busy Head Project, which is a project that donates a portion of each ticket sold for his shows to mental health organizations. He started with a goal of $1 million and has now over doubled that goal. After releasing his newest song, Forever, he explains this word used to terrify him, and he never liked boredom and uncertainty that was associated with the rest of time. Now, with a new perspective, he defines this word as limitless possibility. He says that his goal is to live as close to his parents as possible and maybe even live where he grew up. He says he'd like to be able to snowmobile right down to his mom's for a beer. He can't wait that he has forever to figure out what's next in the future for him. But unfortunately, we do not have forever to talk about this artist, Noah Kahan. Today we got to listen in on what inspired this artist, the history of his career, and how far he's come. So whether you know him as Folk Malone, Jewish Ed Sheeran, or even the American Hosier, I hope through my informative speech today you've come to know Noah Kahan, who certainly has all my love and maybe now yours too. Thank you.